Major Adam Lee III, ADAMLEE III. Today we're here to display some video that we came across while investigating a homicide that occurred on the early morning hours of July 10th, which was Saturday or Sunday morning a week ago. There was an incident that occurred at 529 Peachtree Street, which is the parking lot of Gladys Knight Chicken and Waffles restaurant. There was a shooting that occurred in the parking lot of that location, and subsequent to that, officers responded to a vehicle accident at the intersection of West Peachtree and North Avenue. Unbeknownst to them, the two incidents were connected. They handled the accident and soon discovered that one of the persons inside the vehicle had been shot in the head, or had apparently been shot in the head. He was later taken to Grady. What we're here to show you today is a video that shows there was a white car next to the white truck here that we believe may have been breaking into the white truck. The owner of the white truck comes out, discovers that his car was broken into, and we believe his companion, who was driving the black sedan here in the foreground, appears to have retrieved a weapon from that vehicle and ran towards the car that was exiting, the white car that was exiting the parking lot, and fired several rounds at that vehicle. That vehicle got into an accident at the intersection of West Peachtree and North Avenue. The second part of the video shows the white truck coming along and making a left turn onto Peachtree Street from North Avenue, which was approximately a block from the accident. So that's the two parts of the video. What we're hoping to get out of this is possibly one of these two individuals may have mentioned to someone at some point within the last 10 days about this incident. Someone may have told, one of the people might have told somebody that they were involved in an incident where they shot at somebody while they were leaving Gladys Knight Chicken and Waffles. So if you have been around any conversations or overheard any conversations, anyone talking to you in relations to an incident that occurred at Gladys Knight Chicken and Waffles where someone shot at someone, then we implore you to please contact Crime Stoppers and help us to solve this case. The number is 44577-TIPS. That's the Crime Stoppers. So there is a reward for calling that number if it leads to an arrest and conviction in this case. Is there any questions? Anybody have any questions on it? Any questions about the video?
Yeah, can you just let it run for a minute?
Okay. This is the white truck that we believe is seen earlier. It's much better quality, this video is, making a left. The accident occurred slightly west, a block west of that location. You see the car here leaving? This car is who they were running after. And you see the young man come to this car, open it up. He leaves his car door open after he retrieved the weapon, and he ran back towards the victim's car. When they got into the accident, just one person, the victim, was left in the car. The two other individuals who were in the front seat, they absconded.
Do you all believe this was targeted or random?
It was certainly targeted. We believe that the person in the white truck believed that the other individuals in the white car had broken into his vehicle, and his companion or friend, whoever he was, I'm not sure the relationship, went and got his gun out of his car and ran towards Peachtree Street and fired several rounds at this car as it was leaving the parking lot. This resulted, like I said, it resulted in an accident that happened very shortly after that, about 2 or 3 blocks away. The white car ran a light at the intersection of West Peachtree and North Avenue and was struck by a car that had the green light. And the two individuals that were in the front seat ran, leaving the individual in the back seat who later died from gunshot wounds to the head.
And Major, was there evidence that the folks in that car were behind the break-in?
Well, we do. We have retrieved some evidence from possibly some some stuff that belonged to some other people inside that vehicle, but that's part of the investigation that I'm not ready to elaborate on at this time. Like I said, our main idea in this is that we hope that someone has heard either one of these individuals talking about this incident, and we'll call Crime Stoppers. Thank you.
Vasquez, that's Velazquez.
Detective Andre Lowe, Lowe.
How do you spell Andre, I'm sorry?
Andre.
So what we want to do is reiterate a little bit of a timeline on the Bridget Shield case today, and then address some other issues. So again, on May 31st, around 7 a.m., this victim was found in Oakland City Park at 1305 Oakland Drive. This victim was nude, as we've reported before, and suffered several gunshot wounds. A brief timeline of her whereabouts. She was last seen the day before at a friend's house near 10:15 p.m., 10:20 p.m. near South Harrison Road and Redan Road in DeKalb County. Later on that evening, excuse me, as we reported before, she was seen at a Chevron gas station around 11:20 p.m., Memorial Drive and Rockbridge Road, with two black males, one wearing a white T-shirt, the other having a goatee, and both in their early 20s to 30 years old. Victim's vehicle was discovered June 1st at about 6 a.m. at 4958 Redan Road. So that's the timeline. I think we've reported that before. In regards to the investigation, we're continuing to look at phone records, social media accounts, victim associates, friends, and family. Nothing new to report on that as of yet. But what we want to do is, in response to a recent news report on this case, we want to clear up some facts, okay? Number one, there is no evidence to suggest that this victim was linked to some huge sex trafficking ring in Atlanta or anywhere else. Okay, and I think I'll take some questions on that. That's been a point of contention. Okay, there's no evidence to suggest that Bridget Shield was shot while on the ground. There's no no evidence to suggest that the killers planned on burning her body, and to suggest that is speculation. There's no evidence to suggest that her tattoos had anything to do with what happened to this victim. And lastly, we caution you when reporting on this case or any other case to use good judgment in presenting the facts as we release them and not rely on opinions of others not directly related to this investigation. Questions?
Can we talk about, Detective, how difficult this is for you guys as investigators when bad information is put out to the public?
Well, and I'm not going to call anybody out on this, but it's counterproductive to us. It brings some other hope on, wanted attention to the family. They start expecting things that are just not true.
But when you're investigating a case of this magnitude that has kind of been a huge deal in Atlanta and also nationally, I imagine that when false information is put out there, that as detectives, that kind of hinders the investigation.
Well, it does, and that's why we're doing this press conference. We're here to, set the record straight. Some things were put out there that are just absolutely not true, and we're here to set that record straight. That's pure speculation and opinion, So, anything that you hear that's not coming from us is not reliable information. So if you rely on some law enforcement expert to analyze an autopsy report or interview somebody, if they have a source, we'd be willing to speak with them. But to put that information out is, in our opinion, irresponsible.
From the information that you have received, do you have any leads that you're investigating at this point? Is there anything new with the case?
We've had some tips we're following up on. There's some forensic evidence that we're still analyzing in regards to phone records and other social media accounts. I can't go into detail on that right now, but we are looking at those things at this point. We're still, of course, asking people in the public's help to call Crime Stoppers and call us with any additional information, and we certainly will entertain that I think the family, Ms. Shield's family was a little taken aback by some of the things that were reported. The information did not come from us. Those are unreliable sources. And if there is somebody out there with a tip or information, then we certainly, thank you, I'm so sorry. Can I take that? No allergy, sorry about that. We certainly would entertain that, but again, no source has been revealed to us. We don't know. And if you have a source, we certainly will talk to them. We'll be more than happy to sit down, whoever that is that you have, if you're speaking to people in the community, make them, make us aware of who they are, and we'll be more than willing to talk to them.
What
Why
can you
was
tell
it
us?
important for you to set the record?
I spoke with Bridget's mother a short time ago, and understandably so she's having just a really difficult time with this. Can you just speak to what you guys are doing just to bring a sense of closure to this family?
We just got off the phone with her, and we explained to her, sometimes unfortunately these things happen, and she understands that whatever information that comes out, if it comes from us, it's going to be reliable information. Sometimes we start down one road and we have to turn around and go another way. And we've been transparent with this thing all through the process with the media, the public, and the family. So we are certainly, we understand how they feel. We understand they're victims, just like, this victim is. She's, deceased. And they're dealing with that grief. But to add to that with some unvetted information, that's pure speculation or conjecture is just completely irresponsible.
Well, let's talk about the ME report. Obviously, you guys had already admitted that she had been shot several times from the back, and that was the belief. Can you tell us anything about this so-called ballistic evidence? About how the bullets entered?
No. I can't go into detail about that, but I can tell you that she was not on the ground when she was shot. We know that for a fact. She was upright and running. And again, in the sense of an investigation, how much of a difference would that make? Later on it could, but trying to figure out who did it, it's not something to focus on right now.
Anything about a possible motive as to why somebody would want to kill this young woman?
Not right now. We are entertaining several ideas of why this may have happened, but we have not a solid motive as of yet.
Have you been able to find the two men she was seen on surveillance?
Not yet. We are still, and that's again, excuse me, one of the things that we wanted to put out was that description. If anybody saw her in the car that day with these two men, if they know who they are or have seen them or could recognize them, to call us, and we certainly would entertain, perhaps using mugshot books or things like that to try to identify them.
And lastly, can you talk, when we're talking about the speculation, how difficult that is? I mean, obviously in a no-snitch policy kind of error, when you have information where we're victimizing the victim, I imagine that you may possibly be receiving less tips than you would normally in a case like this?
I don't know. There's drug dealers that snitch on drug dealers, and they certainly have a more dangerous lifestyle. So I don't know if that would be the case. I don't think we put any more stock in one or the other. So certainly if somebody has information, we want them to come forward. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Have you received more tips since the reward went up to $10,000?
We have received some additional tips. I don't know if it was a result of that, but we have since that reward was raised, yes.
You brought up a dangerous lifestyle. Are you talking about Bridget's lifestyle? Do you feel like she was putting herself in danger?
I'm not going to comment on that. I mean, I don't want to put this victim's lifestyle at the forefront of what happened to her. There's no evidence to suggest that's what this is about. It could be anything. It could be a number of things. So, again, with respect to the family, I think we need to just take a step back and look at the facts of the case and not rely so much on, what she was doing or who she may have been doing it with as pertains to this specific case and why she was in the park that day. Okay, I tell you this, and I'll leave you with this last statement, is there's absolutely nothing consensual about a naked woman running through a park getting shot at. Period. I mean, there's nothing about that makes that a normal activity for whatever your occupation is. Okay? Whatever you choose to participate in, that's abnormal.
Let me just follow up on that. Why do you think there's been so much speculation and misinformation in this case in particular?
I don't want to go there. I think I'll leave that alone.
Is it safe to say, lastly, that you believe that her past, regardless of what it is, has nothing to do with the fact that she was murdered on that day?
I won't say that. I mean, it could. It could, but right now there's no evidence to suggest that that's the case.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thanks.